Hello students, how are you all? In today's video, I'm going to discuss bilirubin metabolism, or we can also say catabolism of heme. So regarding the structure of heme, which is also important topic, I discussed the detailed structure of heme in my another video that is on porphyrias if you have seen. So do watch my video till end as I had summarized the whole metabolism, whole this bilirubin metabolism with the help of a diagram also in the end. So this can be asked as a short note in the university exam, or even small questions can be asked from this, and I will be discussing all the disorders related with this bilirubin metabolism. You must uh, heard about Dubin-Johnson syndrome, then Rotor syndrome, then Crigler-Nazar syndrome 1 and 2, the difference and all I'll be discussing in the second part of this bilirubin metabolism. So soon I'll be uploading that also. So now we'll start with this. So, bilirubin metabolism or catabolism of heme. So, in this, heme catabolism takes place in the reticuloendothelial system, that is liver, spleen, and bone marrow, especially occurs in the macrophages when the lifespan of this um RBC, or we can say the senescent RBCs that had become old, the hemoglobin molecules break down to heme and the globin. So the globin chain are degraded and the amino acids are added to the uh, cellular amino acid pool. So this again synthesizes HB, and the heme part, this is also catabolized to bilirubin, and iron is reutilized. So this we'll be discussing in detail. So regarding the bile pigments, the catabolic products like bilirubin, that is yellow in color, biliverdin, that is green in color, and urobilinogens are together referred to as the bile pigments. So a short note can also be asked on this also. What are the different bile pigments or the catabolic products of bilirubin? So they are the products of heme. They are useless excretory products, and the bile salts, they are sodium salts of the bile acids, that is glycocolate and the taurocolate. So they are produced from cholesterol. They help in the absorption of fat. So both bile pigments and bile salts, they are present in the bile. Now the microsomal heme oxygenase system. So what happens, as I told you, that this hemoglobin is broken down into heme and the globin. So this globin is uh, globin part is again catabolized or break down into or it is into the gone into the amino acid pool, which again synthesizes hemoglobin, and this heme in this heme oxygenase, this is a very important enzyme. This is NADPH dependent enzyme. So this also requires cytochrome C as well as the molecular oxygen. So in this there is release of iron from heme in the form of ferric ions, Fe3 plus. So the oxygenase enzyme, this specifically catalyzes the cleavage of the alpha methylene bridge, which is linking the pyrrole rings 1 and 2. So as you know that this heme is a tetrapyrrole structure. This I have discussed in another video of porphyrias, and that I have explained the structure of this heme. So you can see that also, consult that also. The alpha methylene bridge is quantitatively liberated as carbon monoxide. So in this reaction, CO is also released. So this is the only reaction we can say in which there is endogenous production of CO, that is carbon monoxide. So this bilirubin is the unconjugated bilirubin. So now, as I told you, the iron liberated is oxidized to ferric ions and taken up by the transferrin. So this tetraperol heme is converted to the linear pyrrole molecule, as I already told you that there is a breakage of the methylene bridges of the pyrrole rings 1 and 2. So this leads to the conversion from tetraperol structure to the linear structure, linear pyrrole molecule, we can say, that is the biliverdin. So this is the biliverdin. This is a green color compound. The linear tetraperol formed is known as biliverdin. This is green in color. So this heme oxygenase is present in, as I told you, in the microsome of the macrophages. So bilirubin produced in this macrophages is unconjugated. So this bilirubin is the unconjugated bilirubin, and remember this bilirubin is toxic, and it is, as you know, it is insoluble in water and soluble in lipid. That's why it has to be removed from the body because it is creating toxicity in the body. So this bilirubin is unconjugated bilirubin and this is toxic and it has to be removed from the body. So from there it is transported in the blood and get bound to the albumin. So you will see how. Now next is the transport to liver. So liver plays the central role in the further disposal of the bilirubin. So this we are talking about unconjugated bilirubin. Now what happens? The bilirubin formed in the reticuloendothelial cells is insoluble, as I told you that this is toxic also and it has to be removed from the body. So the lipophilic bilirubin, as this is lipid soluble, it is insoluble in water and it is soluble in lipid. So this is lipophilic bilirubin is therefore transported in the plasma bound to albumin. So now this forms the albumin bilirubin complex. So one molecule of albumin can bind to two molecules of bilirubin. So albumin bound to bilirubin get transported into the, now it can be transported into the liver. Now this whole of the bilirubin metabolism is described in three important steps. Now number one is the uptake of bilirubin by the hepatocytes. Okay, and second is the conjugation. So you can consult this reaction in my video in of xenobiotics, metabolism of xenobiotics, in which there is phase 2 reaction. This is conjugation. So this is explained there also. So conversion of this toxic unconjugated bilirubin to the conjugated bilirubin, this is the process known as conjugation. This takes place in the liver only, and excretion into the bile. So these are the three steps of bilirubin metabolism. So we were discussing that when the albumin bilirubin complex reaches the sinusoidal surface of the liver, the bilirubin is taken up. So this uptake is a carrier mediated active process. So this is a active process. Uptake of bilirubin by the hepatocytes is a active process. So once it gets into the hepatocytes, these hepatocytes, what they trap bilirubin by means of a specific binding protein called ligandin or protein Y. This is a family of glutathione S transferases. So these intracellular proteins, this prevents the backflow of bilirubin from the hepatocytes to the blood and also help bilirubin to keep the bilirubin in the solubilized form before the conjugation. Okay, so this uptake of bilirubin by the hepatocytes by facilitated diffusion, this is not the rate limiting step. Remember, this is important that this is uptake of bilirubin by the hepatocytes is not the rate limiting step in the bilirubin metabolism. Even if there is more production of bilirubin, it gets uptake by the hepatocytes. So once in the hepatocytes, the propionyl side chain of bilirubin are conjugated with UDP glucuronate, which is derived from the oxidation of UDP glucose. Now next is the conjugation. So what happens in the conjugation? This takes place in the liver. Inside the liver cell, the bilirubin is conjugated. So up till now we are talking about unconjugated bilirubin, that is uh, insoluble in water, toxic, and it has to be removed from the body because it is creating toxicity. Now in the liver, After this bilirubin bonds with the albumin, albumin bilirubin complex is being formed. After that, conjugation takes place. This takes place in the liver. So the bilirubin is conjugated with glucuronic acid. This is the substance that is produced in our body, and bilirubin conjugates with this moiety, glucuronic acid, in presence of an enzyme UDP glucuronyl transferase, and this results in the formation of mono and the diglucuronides. So now this bilirubin diglucuronide, this is the conjugated bilirubin, we can say, and this is water soluble non-toxic bilirubin, okay, which can be easily excreted from the body. So this is very important, that conjugated bilirubin, this is water soluble and this is non-toxic and it can be easily excreted from the body. Now the next or the third step, that is the excretion of bilirubin to bile canaliculi. So the water soluble conjugated bilirubin is excreted into the bile by an active process, and this occurs against a concentration gradient. So this is the rate limiting step in the catabolism of heme. This is the, we can say, only rate limiting step in the catabolism of heme. So this step is induced by phenobarbital. Then excretion of conjugated bilirubin into bile is mediated by an ATP binding cassette protein, which is called multi-specific organic anion transporter, MOAT. This is a protein because due to the mutation of these proteins, we'll be discussing in the next video, different disorders are congenital disorders are there associated with this bilirubin metabolism. We'll be discussing in next video in bilirubin metabolism part 2. So this protein is located in the plasma membrane of the biliary canaliculi. This protein is very similar to the multi-drug resistance protein, that is MRP2. Now, what is the fate of this conjugated bilirubin in intestine? What happens then? The conjugated bilirubin reaches the intestine through the bile. Okay, intestinal bacteria, that is beta glucuronidase, this deconjugate the conjugated bilirubin. So this free bilirubin is further reduced to a colorless linear tetrapyrrole called stercobilinogen, mesobilinogen or urobilinogen. So all these compounds, they are collectively referred to as urobilinogen. So this stercobilinogen is mostly excreted through feces. Now another important this thing, intrahepatic circulation. So this urobilinogen, we can say, some of the urobilinogen is reabsorbed passively from the intestine and returned to the liver by portal blood. Okay, so this urobilinogen, this is again re-excreted via this intrahepatic circulation or portal circulation, we can say. Since the urobilinogen is passed through the blood, so a small fraction of urobilinogen is excreted in the urine. It is less than 4 mg per day. So both these urobilinogen and stercobilinogen are both colorless compounds but are oxidized, or auto-oxidation takes place to the colored compounds. They are, after the oxidation of both these products, are converted into the or oxidized to colored products. So the fecal and the urinary urobilinogen are auto-oxidized to form orange-yellow colored compounds called urobilins or the stercobilins. So both urobilin and stercobilin are present in urine as well as in the feces. So basically they are responsible for the different colors of feces and the urine. The normal color of feces is due to these compounds, that is urobilin and the stercobilin. So now due to this diagram I will summarize whole of the this thing. So as I told you that when RBC hemolysis takes place, or we can say the senescent RBC, uh, uh, this is catabolized to heme. So this heme via that is produced in the reticuloendothelial system. So these senescent RBCs are destroyed in the reticuloendothelial system. So this releases hemoglobin. So this hemoglobin molecule, this is broken down into heme and the globin. So as I told you that the globin part enters the amino acid pool, which again synthesizes hemoglobin, whereas the heme is catabolized to bilirubin. Okay, and uh, this bilirubin is unconjugated bilirubin, as I told you, and this is the toxic, and this is insoluble in water, we can say, and soluble in lipid. That's why it has to be removed from the body, as I told you. So from there it is transported in the blood and get bound to the albumin. Okay, so this complex is formed, that is bilirubin albumin complex. So now after this, the next step is the uptake of bilirubin by the hepatocytes. This is the very first step of bilirubin metabolism, uptake of bilirubin by the hepatocytes. So this uptake, I told you, is a carrier mediated active process. So bilirubin binds to ligands or the protein Y inside the cell. Then next is the conjugation. Okay, so bilirubin are conjugated with glucuronic acid, okay, in presence of this transferase enzyme, and forms the bilirubin diglucuronides. Uh, this is conjugated bilirubin. This bilirubin diglucuronide basically is the conjugated bilirubin. It is non-toxic, and now this conjugated bilirubin reaches the intestine, okay, through the bile. Some part of conjugated bilirubin, we can say, escapes and enters into the this portal circulation, via portal circulation or the enterohepatic circulation, we can say, and again there is reuptake of this conjugated bilirubin and by the hepatocytes. So for this reuptake, we can say, of conjugated bilirubin, then into the hepatocytes, this causes the uh, I told you that proteins are required, and they are known as organic anion transporter proteins. So this conjugated bilirubin get converted into the this thing urobilinogen, and we can say 90% of urobilinogen gets oxidized and converted to the stercobilinogen, and it is excreted in the urine. Excreted in the feces, and small amount of urobilinogen, we can say, that enters into this enterohepatic circulation, metabolized by the liver, and some part get into the kidney, and this gets converted into the urobilin, and it is excreted as urine, we can say. So this is the whole metabolism. Sorry for the delay, as I was unable to put this video due to my busy schedule. But soon I'll be uploading my next video in continuation with this. In that, I'll be discussing the different disorders, that is Steven Johnson, then Rotor, then Krigler-Nazar syndrome. So, thank you.